The Christmas markets are a little bit different because I'm not going to try to convince you they're amazing because you already know that. You don't need me to tell you how much fun they are, how the delicious food, and everybody comes out and you really feel it. This year and last year were the first years that I really spent that much time in them. And it just added so much to the season. It was just so much fun. So for this one, I want to tell you more about what this particular tour is because there are a lot of options for them. It's this weird little momentary high season. So how do we navigate that? And what do we do differently? So it goes Brussels to Trier to Strasbourg. This is the updated itinerary. The initial one I had 4 cities, 4 countries. This one has 3 cities, 4 countries. Wow. So how do we do that and what is it? We'll start in Brussels, which is an amazing market. It's a great one. I really like Brussels. I know the Belgians love to hate on it, but it's one of those things. Brussels, that market is known for having particularly good food because Belgium, they love to say, because they have that blend of Germanic and French influence, half the country speaks French. They say French cuisine with German portions is what the Belgians say. So they know how to eat. So you get really good food there. There's several markets scattered around, including a new one that's literally right outside the door of the hotel we use, which is another beautiful hotel, an old manor house thing. So Brussels is a ton of fun. And of course, it's Belgium. Brussels, Belgian chocolate, you're going to. We'll talk about waffles another time because I will talk for 25 minutes. Easy. Brussels is the best place to have Brussels waffles. Brussels is a great place to start. You do have free time on the tour to go check stuff out. Brussels has good options. The Atomium here from the World's Fair fame, Auto World, where you can see every kind of car you ever wanted for my gearheads. I'm going to go on a day trip back to Antwerp. I talked about on the Benelux thing. It's a great city. Also has a great Christmas market. So I'm going to head back there to check that out. Now, I'll tell you at the end. From there, after that, we'll head on down to Trier, Germany. Trier is my favorite of them this year. I just really liked Trier. It's a remarkable town. I'm going to say it's really important for centuries, about 1,000. Well, let's say 2,000 years actually, but especially in the Middle Ages, it had one of the electors, Holy Roman Empire. It's a thing. We'll talk about it. Don't worry. But this market right here, which I loved, is right outside the cathedral there. That's not a castle. That's the cathedral. It's the oldest cathedral in Germany. Back to in a quick sec because just that also Trier was where I ended up buying most stuff. I bought like all the ornaments and everything. These little houses, you put a tea light or incense in there. My mom has one of those. I bought a little like wind chime, one of those things hanging up top there. I just got to pick where to hang it. I realized it's been a month and I haven't hung it. But that cathedral, back to the cathedral. I said it's the oldest in Germany. How old is it? Ancient Roman old. What? Because you may have heard, if you listen to my last presentation, a lot of our tourism is based on where those like rich British kids used to go. They didn't go to see ancient Roman stuff in Trier because they couldn't see this. Because Trier was so important in the Middle Ages, it had all sorts of Middle Age Baroque buildings on top of this. World War II came along and blew them all up. When they cleared those all off, they went, oh, we have Roman baths under here. So they excavated this huge complex of amazing Roman baths because Constantine, that guy from Constantinople, that whole thing, he lived here. Him and his son, like this was the capital for managing here, Gaul, this whole area, Hispania, all that was managed out of Trier. So they have ancient Roman heritage. There's several buildings which have ancient Roman heritage, including this one. I love this one because the big palace with the Baroque facade there, that's where the elector lived, the guy who was big in European politics. But how about that big hulking weirdo lingering on the shoulder there? That is now the Basilica of Constantine because that was Constantine's throne room, the basis of that. Now, where else can you go and find important medieval Baroque history and ancient Rome sharing a building? It's a trip. Now, I said we have four countries and 3 stops because Trier is also really close to Luxembourg. So we're still going to go check out Luxembourg. It's built on that river valley. So you've got the fortification walls and the cliff there and everything. That is their Constitution Plaza basically up there. That's where one of their 3 Christmas markets is. So you can go to that one. You can stock up on tasty food, get your hot chocolate, ride the Ferris wheel, and look out over that valley. It's really a pretty unique place. And then we'll head on back into Trier and be in Trier to check this one out. This is another market really close to the cathedral. It's just like a 2-minute walk away, and check out more markets there in Trier. It's just a great place. Get that German food, get that everything. It's a ton of fun. Then after that, I did have to throw in one more in between stop because I just can't help it. Because if you're going to come all the way to Europe, let's see more than just one thing, because the markets are amazing. They're worth coming for. But if you're like me, and it's my tour, so I'm going to run it the way I want, you can come see more stuff. On the way down there, we're going to stop here. You've heard of the Maginot Line after the war to end all wars, World War I? They said, we want to make sure there isn't a World War II. So France built these huge fortifications to make sure that there was never another war. And if it did, it would be over quickly. They built this whole thing, and it didn't work. So they were kind of abandoned. This did see fighting, but we get a chance to go down in there because it's still there. You can see this command rooms and everything where they planned what they were going to do, their living quarters, the guns and cannons and stuff in there. It's a trip to see. And it's in between Trier and the capital of Christmas, Strasbourg. I'm not going to try to sell you on Strasbourg because it's an amazing place. Capital of Christmas for France. Routinely voted the best Christmas market in Europe, which is a little bit inaccurate because this year they had 10. They have 10 Christmas markets scattered around town. They close off the entire city center. There's no vehicles, just the tram runs in. And the entire thing becomes a pedestrian zone of Christmas markets and savory goodies and cool gifts to give and fun people to talk to. We were eating dinner and talked to some Australians. You have great experiences there. It's just a really fun place to be. And then you can see Strasbourg down there in France. It's really easy from there to jump on the train, come back to Brussels. If you want to fly out from Brussels round trip, it's close to Paris. If you want to go into Paris, back to Frankfurt, Amsterdam, it's just connected to everything that you'd want to do in there.